hey, it's NC-17 or the Mean 17 or I don't know things. NC-17. So
NC-17.
in the motion picture ratings was NC-17 like was that a little more full frontal nudity than just PG-13 or what was the whole deal on
I
it?
think it had that and violence and probably language, probably a little bit
Language,
more of everything.
violence,
In
What's LMA though?
LMA.
Adult situations, and they used to call it something like that.
Yeah.
Language
Sexual
maturity.
content.
Probably language maturity and adult.
All that stuff.
I think you're right.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff. Hey, see, we missed the Mean 15 because I made it to Serene, and this is now the NC-17. But let's roll back to the Mean 15. Got a question for everybody in the room, and Jim.
Do we have to answer it?
Yep. You have to answer it honestly. It's an honest question that you must answer honestly. Say there was a new person to your group, right? It doesn't matter what that new person is or what they do, or maybe you work with them, and they tell you that they've gotten you something.
Boy, here we
And
go.
then all of a sudden, here comes like we've gotten. I went out of my way to get these special gifts because I think they make your personality the best. And then I'm gonna mail them.
So in other words,
and then
Carson,
I'm gonna bring them.
Yep.
Did you? Are they here?
No.
Carson is the most organized guy in the room, and he forgot everything.
Excuse me?
I literally did not even bring a notebook this week.
What?
The most organized person in the room.
Last night he's like,
I know, he got me confused.
I forgot my notebook. I mean, he sends me like detailed computer notes and stuff, and I'm like, good Lord. His days are organized.
So
I'm kind of curious to see what gift he
mine are
brought
a little
you.
bit more shoot from the hip. What's happening today?
If his gift matches your personality, I didn't realize you wanted a dick, Jerry.
Oh, I was actually
NC-17.
NC-17.
NC-17 gloves are off.
Holy cow!
We're wide open today.
Parents, cover your children's ears.
Yes,
it's gonna.
So, are we gonna get those like on the first day of the Napa Fan Zone like pre-show?
You know, I was thinking that too. I think that's...
Do we need to send you a reminder?
Probably.
Okay.
Well, you're coming back next week, right? So you could...
Oh!
Yeah, I'll be back next week, but I'm not going to hold my breath that I remember them.
He probably won't even remember them.
You probably won't even remember.
There's been so much build up to this. These
I
gifts
know.
probably aren't as good as what we're building them up to be.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they better be.
Probably like
They better be
Indian,
NC-17 rated kind of stuff.
or they better be like XXXX.
X. 4 X's.
Like 40.
X.
Porn plus 10.
That's like 4 times the corn porn.
Yes. Better than corn sex.
Yes, corn sex.
It's been humid as crap out.
That's because the corn's having a lot of sex.
There is a lot of sex going on in the cornfield in Iowa right now.
Jesus Christ.
Holy
We
cow.
are way off the rails, and we're, 3 minutes in?
Quit looking at that clock.
What time did we start? That's the shot clock.
The shot clock. Shots are fired.
One day we'll learn how to run it and we just count it down.
Yeah.
Well,
That
when
won't
we
stop
get
us
in our
from talking.
key
We'll get
agenda
really
items.
Have a remote running it all.
So what the hell happened since our last podcast? Anything?
We've had some races.
Had some rain.
That about sums it up.
Harris Clash.
The Clash.
Clash.
Yeah.
Biggest race at Deer Creek Speedway of the season.
Night of 1,000 Stars.
Night of 10,000 saw the rain, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
Hey, who won the Harris Clash?
Someone that's
Is
never
this
won
a
a
loaded
race
question?
before.
Yeah. This is a loaded
Yeah,
question.
someone
Of course it's a loaded question.
Tom
If he
Berry's
had-
never won the Clash before? He'd never won it?
No.
I hadn't won the Harris Clash.
No.
He's won everything
Was
else.
that-
So, yeah, he's won everything else, but
Was that his first one of the year?
He's won a lot of races.
First win in
I think it
Deer
was.
Creek.
I think it was the first one in August, if I think. Right.
He has won a lot of races. Swept the Dakota Tour, came down. He's got his stuff rolling good.
Yeah.
And when you're on, you're on. When you're hot, you're hot. And when you're not, you're not. Isn't that a song?
That's Jerry Reed.
I was going to say. Can we cue that up?
Was that,
When you're hot, you're hot. What's that? No, it's not from
Like
Smoking
Kramer
Horse.
from
What was
Bad
it from?
Money.
It was in a
I
movie.
still want
It
one
was
of
in
those
a.
boards
No,
with
I don't think he
buttons.
made it for a movie, but I think it got used in the movie.
Yeah, Tom has his stuff rolling.
There's no doubt about it.
He started 9th. He was in the lead in 6th. You know, it was the first. It's the first Harris Clash that I have missed since I started working at IMCA and since 1990.
you know,
Oh, that's
Is it a-
right,
You have a
Grandpa.
very
That's right,
good
Grandpa.
reason, though.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations,
And
Grandpa.
Yes.
Thank you, all of you, thank you. I was gonna go to the Clash, and Jim's like, are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, well, I think I should be there. You know, it's just one of those races that I feel like I should be at. It's not too far from here, but it's just far enough. Deer Creek's just far enough to where if something happened, you know, I would, you know, probably not be
like a
able to.
2-minute delivery instead of like a 4-hour.
Yeah,
delivery
you
or
know,
something.
it was. She was scheduled to, you know, she was due a week prior to the clash, and so it was in that, you know, 13th hour situation. So yeah, is that a word or?
Yeah,
saying?
no, that's a. Yeah.
It is now.
Yeah, so they scheduled.
Like
She went in.
the 10th
Like
hour.
4
She
X's.
didn't have it
is
that
a word.
night. I did watch the clash on my phone. She didn't have it that night, but she did have. She went into. She had to be induced the next day, and so that was a long process. I went through that with both my children. So, well, with particularly with Kennedy, not with Elizabeth, but so, you know, I kind of knew what to expect, but you don't never know what to expect, you know. And Alyssa ended up having. Navy Drew is her name. Navy Drew Smith on August 4th.
Oh, there
would have been
she is.
Thursday morning. Yeah. Yeah, crazy.
We need a.
Crazy.
You know, this kind of goes away from our NC-17 theme. I mean, we're too nice.
Well,
and-
they had to make a baby, you know. I mean, I suppose that.
Yeah, maybe they watched
And
some
I really don't want to think about
NC-17
my
movies.
kids. It doesn't seem
Oh,
like my
God.
daughter should be
Let's
making
change the
babies.
subject right now.
Correct, Jim. You'll be there. You have a sick. Well, how old's Grace?
17.
Oh boy, NC-17 coming Jim's way.
Yeah.
7.9 pounds for Navy, 20 inches long, healthy baby little girl.
Where did
you
they
know.
come up with Navy? How
I
did-
asked the
Jason
same
Aldean,
thing.
wasn't it?
Jason Aldean's daughter is named Navy.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of a trendy name.
Who's
for
he?
kid. Yeah, Jim doesn't know. No.
He doesn't. He doesn't
It's
like
kind of a
quality
trendy name.
country
I thought
music.
at first I was like, well, that's unique, but it's kind of cute. It kind of
Oh, it is.
It really does. It's grown on me quite a bit. I think it's a great name, you know. But the baby's healthy, parents are good. You know, the birth, you know, everything.
That's all
went
that
good.
matters.
Yeah, everything went good for Alyssa. You know, we got to go. Again, she was born on Thursday morning. It took about 20 some odd hours. Well, 27, 28 hours of inducing, I think, something like that. So it was a long process. So we were all, you know, I didn't sleep much that night. You know, you just start worrying about your kids. You know, everybody who's been in this situation who has had kids and grandkids. You know, it's just such a cool feeling. It's just the best. I can't go see her enough. I've been up there a couple times now to Waterloo, and plan on going back again here in a day or two when I got a little free time.
That'll be good. I ran into the great grandma and grandpa on the way in.
Yes,
and I asked great grandma if she was going to be on the podcast, and she said no. And I think Brett's upset about it. But and
She
your
was
dad
here
goes
to-
and your dad goes, well, I ain't the first time, won't be the last.
Yeah, why didn't we have your dad on?
Oh, that would have been
fit
a
our
ratings
theme, I think.
coup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NC-17.
That would have been
Hey, no.
we may have went full on R. We might have.
We'd have to have a bottle of Dewar's if we're going to have my dad on. He'd sit here with a scotch and water, you know.
So do
My
we
dad
have the
said to
new
my- My dad said this
kinder,
morning.
gentler Brett right now because of the Navy?
It's been noticeably different in the office, Jim.
You know,
Has
I
it?
mean,
Well, I don't know.
it's crazy. Kids are so. I mean, it's just life is so precious. I mean, it makes you reflect. You know, I've talked to this about a variety of people in the office. Situations like that make you reflect. You know, obviously, Ryan's grandmother just passed away. You know, so you have situations that make you reflect, and the end of life is so tragic, but the beginning of life is so incredibly cool. You know, to create another human being, it's just nuts. I mean, it's like a little baby, like this big. I'm like, oh my god!
Yeah,
look at her fingers, look at her toes. I mean,
It's like holding a little baby.
it is crazy. It's such a cool feeling. You know, plus, you know, I'm gonna spoil the crap out of her.
Oh, no kidding.
You know, oh yeah. So no, it's
I can't
it's a
wait till
pretty
she's old enough to help us
happy
fold
moment.
shirts.
Yeah, I'll put her to work.
Put her to work.
Oh, we talked about folding shirts Saturday.
Child labor laws.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
We
you
don't
have
have
to
to
pay
pay her.
them. I mean, come on.
I mean, come on, I'm not that nice of a grandpa. But anyhow, yeah, no, it's been a really good week. But, you know, the clash was good, looked good, car count looked good.
Yeah.
Races
You know, I
looked
was
decent.
talking to Cole Queensland after the race, and, you know, it was probably the smoothest clash we've had. And, you know, we got done and, you know, earliest we've ever got done. And we were sitting there trying to, you know, figure out what was different about this year than the past. And we came up with one thing.
Jerry wasn't there. Brett
Well,
wasn't there.
I was there. Yeah, I was gonna say I've not been there since it's moved up there.
I wasn't there.
That was Cole's answer to the. And
Yeah.
what a great promoter! What a great facility! I mean, it's just fantastic that we're able to come up there once a year and bring a shitload of cars with us and put on a good show.
One other thing about Deer Creek that always sticks in my mind, besides Cole's brother's drivers meeting, which I've always thought is like an inspirational moment. The first time I ever listened to him do a drivers meeting. But then, we post lineups, right? So we posted lineups the first year we were up there for the Clash, and I Cole was standing there, and I gave him the lineups, and I said, "This is for your lineup guy," and he's like, "We don't have no lineup guy," and I'm like, "What do you mean you have a lineup guy?" He goes, "We don't have a lineup guy." I said, "Well, how do you line up cars?" He goes, "They just line themselves up." I'm like, "No, they don't." He's like, "No, really, they do." And that's just, it's always stuck with me about that. That's how organized that place is. They don't even have a lineup guy. They literally just announce it on the PA. Whatever heat race is up. You got to know what heat you're in. You got to know where to place
you
you.
follow,
And
I
they got to be
suppose,
lined up and go on the racetrack in order. And nobody does that for the racers. They all do it, or else they don't get their spot. So it's crazy to me. It's just a good example of how I think the racing has got facilities that are kind of set the bar for what racers kind of expect a little bit, and what fans expect, and even what other, I think, promoters shoot for. And I think Deer Creek is kind of, has been one of those facilities ever since the Queenslands have run the place. It's just a great place, great racing, great facility. It's a good fit for the Harris Clash.
Absolutely.
A good car count
Absolutely.
too. 70-some mods and 40-some sport mods.
Yeah.
Was it Alec Fett that won the
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
he ended
sport
up
mods?
winning.
His first
Fett
Flash
was-
win too.
Fett was declared the winner after a post-race disqualification, and that was also
What
something.
a good segue here, Brett.
Something we wanted to just to touch on, and I sent Nate a couple of pictures. I don't know which one he's going to post first. That is actually the picture of the initial winner's carburetor, and it's really important for people who are watching to look at the boosters on this carburetor, because if you look at the boosters on this,
Now,
You can
explain
look-
what the booster part
the
is.
telestrator.
the booster is going to be
Yeah, we need that telestrator.
yeah, I do. I need one of those things where I can write on it.
Yeah, the picture reader.
The booster is the very center part of the dark hole. It's the circle with the little arm off it that comes back in and presses into the body of the carburetor. That particular booster is not a Holley booster. That particular booster is we're not sure who's making it. It probably BLP would be my guess, but that is not a 4412 Holley produced booster. And this is something that's been going on in IMCA or in dirt track racing for about 2 years now. We've been running through this subject over and over and over again. So here we are now at one of our biggest races of the year, disqualifying the Sport Mod winner over this issue. And it's unfortunate. It sucks. It's to me, it's not a good reflection of anything. But that carburetor is wrong. That carburetor is made by Stealth. We've had this conversation. Dave had this conversation in the chair last time he was here a week ago. We've called Stealth. He called Stealth, I think it was 10 times in 7 days. Still haven't heard back from him. That booster's not legal. That carburetor's being sold by Kevin Stowa. They're selling carburetors that are illegal, that don't meet our rules. And racers are getting caught in the middle of this. I guess people want us to say that's our fault. It's not our fault. That's not a Holley booster. It's in a Holley carburetor, but it's the wrong booster in that carburetor. And if you want to throw up the next carburetor picture I gave you, Nate,
And we had two other
that's a
DQs
Holley booster
last
that's legal.
year.
So if you look at the two pictures in comparison, people can watch the video back and forth. You can see that booster is noticeably different, particularly the little hump on the arm that presses into the body of the carburetor. It's got a little elbow-looking piece right there. It's fairly identifiable, but unfortunately, we even have tech guys that struggle with this. Dave is very good at identifying it, but a weekly tech guy maybe that's not even tech cars very long may not be. But that booster is the original. That's the original 4412.
So what is it that to look at it with a naked eye?
It doesn't gauge right either.
So when the gauge goes in, it's a go no go gauge. It's going to drop.
It doesn't gauge right. For eons. Obviously the 4412 carburetor, it's an air intake limiter. It's limiting the airflow into the engine. It's just an air pump. That's all the engine is an air pump. You know, it's limiting the intake of the air into the engine is what the 4412 carb rule does. One of the ways they circumvent that is play with that booster. They either pull it out, they thin it, they narrow it. They do anything they can to get the CFM airflow around that booster into the engine faster. And so that booster, the wrong booster does that. It doesn't meet the rule. It doesn't meet the rules. So it is, in our opinion, it's an advantage. It shouldn't be in there. So it's a disqualifiable offense.
Yeah,
so
because it is performance enhancing, because more air will create more horsepower.
Yeah. So if anybody who's listening or watching, you know, especially if you're watching, you can go back and look at the visual difference between the two boosters. It's somewhat, if you know what you're looking for, it's somewhat easy to catch. But unfortunately, that's the situation of what happened in our Sport Mod winner at the Clash. I'm sure Mr. Fett probably didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But he's been fast all year too, as well. You know.
Both the Fett kids have been fast.
They have been. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 5,000 at Park Jefferson early in the year.
That was
Colby.
But all in all, I think the crowd, we had great viewership on IMCA TV. We have ever since we started broadcasting that event. You know, people want to watch the Clash. People want to watch races at Deer Creek. So that's been evident for that event for, 3 years now, I think we've done it, Nate. And, you know, they had a good crowd, great car count, decent weather, great weather. You know, we had to rain that one year.
Oh, that one year it rained. It was like a 3-hour delay or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
we sat in the pits and
first year.
there was no way we were going to race. I mean, just no way. And once again, they pull it out of their ass.
Yep.
I don't know
Let
how
the
else
track
to
sit
say
a little
it.
bit and then rolled it in and we raced. I think we were about an hour and a half late that first. I think that was the first year the Clash was there, wasn't it?
Might have been.
Yes, it was.
So, but no, you can't thank Bob Harris enough. Obviously,
31st year.
31st year, for his choice of sanctioning that event with us. You know, it's the longest standing single one-day event in IMCA modified racing that we do. So it is a little bit, you know, troubling for me not to attend. But Jim said the circumstances were warranted.
Yes.
Yes, very much so.
Warranted.
I think that's one of those moments you never get back. You've got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's one of those
my
moments
gosh.
I'm never gonna, I'll never forget. I'll never forget that this year. No different than the 1998 when I missed 3 days of the Supernationals because Alyssa was being born. And as I told her, I said, "This is so strange." She was born in the same hospital she gave birth in. So I was like, 23 years ago, I was carrying you out of here.
You know what the Root family does
About
in the
the same
off-season
size.
during NC7 episode NC17.
It's crazy. So, but I'm just over the moon particularly happy for Alyssa and Tyler, and they've got a long, happy life together, hopefully, and Navy's going to be, producing some of that happiness. Probably a little bit of the other stuff too, but I have 2 daughters, so
Spoils.
the good and the not. I don't know if it's troubling, but man, teenage girls.
I like to call it troubling.
Yeah, Jim. I think Jim's going through.
Alyssa was a good kid, though, too.
Yeah,
So.
both
I'm
my
on the
daughters.
early half of the teen girl years. I don't have the.
It's coming.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm
your
not.
daughter.
Yeah, my dog.
What are you
Yes, I mean,
talking-
she's 14.
Thank you for
Oh, yeah,
clarifying.
yeah.
We wanted to clarify that.
You were
I thought might
taking
be
that
going
direction. I
Matthew
just-
Oh,
McConaughey
God.
on us.
Oh, good Lord.
No, she's 14. She's into volleyball and horses, and sometimes boys or whatever. But
14, that's probably about the age where they start noticing those things, isn't it?
yeah,
So what else are we talking about? Clash, carburetors, babies,
Carson's gifts.
Carson's gifts that he forgot to bring, his disorganization,
Yeah.
Jerry should have brought lunch.
You should have brought
his
lunch. Jerry.
forgetfulness.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. If you have some butts or candy and nuts, it'd be Christmas all the time, and we'd have presents.
I could not talk my mother into being on the podcast.
I asked her if she wanted to sit in it.
I don't think she had any desire.
Wow.
She has, and it's funny because I thought I could talk her into it, and she said, I don't want to do that. I'm like, I get
You're
it.
thinking again.
If you go back many years when she was speaking at our national banquet, and I remember when she first asked me to do it, she goes, "I want you to speak at the banquet instead of me," and I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "It just terrifies me," and I'm like, "Well, it terrifies me too, but I'll do it." I was excited, but it still terrifies me.
Get up in front of them people.
How many years I've done it.
Get up there and do you imagine them in situations?
What?
That Jerry doesn't like public speaking either.
Yeah, like when you're up there public, you know, they always say, just look out there and imagine the people in a comfortable situation.
Yeah, pretend
there's not any kind of speaking that Jerry doesn't like.
Yeah, we've all heard, I think, that advice, but it's still incredibly challenging. It's very nerve-wracking to get up there in front of
you don't want to screw up.
600 people.
Stumble over your words, trip off the stage.
Say the wrong thing.
Maybe forget,
there's all kinds of things that come up.
Yeah, forget somebody's name.
Promise 40,000 to win modified races at the Supernationals.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I will go to his defense. He never promised anything. He hasn't promised.
That was only a recommendation, I think.
Yeah, that was a suggestion.
Brainstorming topic.
We'll get Lottie on the podcast. Maybe we can get him to come over here and sit down. We can talk purses and Supernationals.
Yeah.
But my mother said, well, I don't have anything to talk about. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Really?
Yeah, that's what she said. She said, I don't have anything to talk about. She said, I don't, and I get it, because, if you look at, I don't know how you say it, her generation, I don't know if you just say her era, you look at the promoters that are her age, and my dad said today, he said, I walked out of the hotel and said, I'm walking like an old man, and then he said, shit, I am an old man. So, my dad's 84, my mom's 79. So, they're 78. They're the promoters who were their age or that they were familiar with, many of them aren't promoting anymore.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of them around.
Right. You got Lottie at Boone.
How old? See, that I get asked that question all the time. How old is he? Isn't he like 80?
I think he's between my parents' age.
I think he's like 81 or 82.
80s.
I think he's in his low 80s, 81 or 82 would be my guess. I've never really asked, and he's never really told.
He can still grab some big son bitch by the shirt and take him.
He's still feisty.
I watched it firsthand one night. I thought he was going to get his way.
Well, that was what, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that was after one of those hard football tackles to somebody, and then next thing I know, he's standing on the gator and he's got this guy by the shirt, and I'm like, and no problem.
Feisty. I think he'll be feisty forever.
Yes.
Your mom, she was in the office yesterday, and we were talking about drivers. She was asking about a driver from Dunkerton that she was trying to recall. I think a name had come up, and we were going over different names, and I think she's removed herself from it. She's enjoying her retirement. When she comes to the office, she's here to see you. She's here to see Jody. It's not about racing or returning to the
pretty
office.
much. A lot of our conversations still migrate, whether we're here, whether wherever we're at when we're talking, on the phone or whatever, they still migrate to what's going on at IMCA. She still cares. There's no doubt about that. She was on her way back. They flew back from Orlando. Would have been like last Thursday, I think. And she said, I was sitting in the airport.
I heard this story in Marshalltown.
I was sitting in the airport in Sanford, and somebody walks up to me and says, are you Kathy? And she said, I looked up and said, well, who are you? And she's like, she laughed, and she said, I didn't know who it was. I didn't recognize him. And it ended up being Kurt Martin from Independence.
Really?
Yeah. And he asked my mom if she was Kathy, and she didn't recognize him. But, again, time can get away from you, and everybody changes, and, everybody's memories, and everything else, Well,
that's like Friday night. I was walking through the pits here in Marshalltown, and Kurt walked past, and I was like, is that Kurt? Yeah, it was. Because, I remember when seeing Kurt Martin race when I first started,
been doing it forever.
80, I think 86 was the first year I went to Marshalltown. That's the first time I saw him.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, this is...
Triple Crown winner.
Yep, Triple Crown winner.
I don't know what year that was, 87, 80, 90?
80.
Ryan will
Was
know.
it 80s? 89?
I thought it was like 80. It was 88 or 89 if I remember.
It was 89, I think.
Won the Deary. He won the... It would have. I don't know if it was the Deary Series at that time.
He won the Summer Series, the National
National title, and
hang on, we got. Go ahead, caller.
The Triple Crown that they had set up that year and had a bonus.
Yeah, it was like if you won the Summer Series,
something like that. I think it was a track
Red Baron Pizza, probably.
That was
there was only like 1 or 2 years.
That was 1
88.
year. The first year was none, no sponsor. Then the next year was Red Baron for 1 year.
Yeah,
so that would have been 88 because then 89 went J&J Steel.
Yeah, and then Deary had been.
Then Deary went after
for so many years.
Kurt's been winning races a long time.
Yeah,
I'm just going to throw this out there. I wasn't even born yet with what you guys are talking about. So.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
We know.
Okay.
Your brain hasn't.
What year were you born,
formed, which
Carson?
Explains
Hey,
why
he's-
you didn't bring our gifts.
He's of
94?
that generation where they get you something and then forget to bring it.
Good Lord, he was born in 94.
Graduated high school in
Crazy.
94.
I was in my first year of being a senior at UNI in 94.
That was a couple years out of high
Second year,
school.
I was a 5 year.
It was a
I was
5-year.
I was working at IMCA in
Wasn't that smart?
'94.
Is that what you were doing back then here, Jim?
Well, he came in and
I've heard some stories about you, too.
He came in and did some house cleaning and then got an office out of the deal.
We were looking at those yearbooks, and oh my gosh, Ryan had some yearbooks out from up till about 2000, and oh my gosh,
I loved those books.
we should scan some of those yearbooks and throw them up on for one of our podcasts.
Yeah.
We've got, speaking of the yearbooks, and Byron Fichter, he's doing a lot of cool stuff on the IMCA Facebook page for Supernationals previews and stuff. And I sent him the stories and pictures from the first 10 years of Supernationals, so that stuff will start popping up on Facebook. I think he put some stuff up today from the first year.
Yeah.
He's so creative. Byron
very
does
good.
such a
Oh,
fantastic
absolutely.
job.
And I-
Return of the Jedi was the highest grossing movie in 1983.
That's a good movie too.
do you remember that?
And Jimmy
Carson?
Gustin, and
Not
Jimmy
even a
Gustin,
little.
Jimmy Gustin is not only excited this week because he went back to Victory Lane,
Yep.
but the Boone Bound pictures have started.
Well, and he finally, after he won Saturday night,
Yeah.
he finally registered for Supernationals. He must now finally think he's fast enough to compete again.
Well, then you could put the picture of him back in Victory Lane on his Boone Bound.
I loved his shirt that he wore in Victory Lane. I can't even say it, even it's NC rated. I can't even say what his shirt said. It was just funny.
It was the yeah.
It was a Star Wars themed shirt.
From Saturday?
Yeah.
If you
I
look
didn't
at the
even notice it.
picture.
I didn't even look at it.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the top part. I know what the bottom part says.
That's what we can't say.
Yeah.
Right.
Pew pew. Yeah. Pew pew.
Baby Yoda. Oh well.
So Carson,
Yes, sir.
fan zone stuff. There's a lot of neat stuff coming at Supernationals, I hear.
Heck yeah, we'll have a live broadcast.
If he doesn't forget.
If he does, yeah.
No, that's all on you guys. I'm not part of the live
We're gonna have
broadcast.
to get out of bed.
Yeah.
What time is this thing going to be? It's going to be daily, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, maybe not daily. We'll see.
Carson's going to pop his Supernationals cherry this year.
I've never been.
It's going to be
Oh, Jim.
He's going to start the week a virgin and end the week a whore. I guess that's what he's gonna do.
Oh, you guys.
Be
A
prepared.
lot of
It's
people
not
started
always.
like that.
It's sometimes more than NC-17.
I'll be going to bed before all that starts.
You think?
Oh,
you
yeah.
think we'll drag you out?
Yeah. We'll bring you out and about. Anyway, so
We'll
a
bring
lot
the
of
party
stuff
to you.
happened in the Napa fan zone. Tell us what. I mean,
Yeah, we'll have some giveaways. We'll have
Oh, really? Free stuff? You're going to bring
Free
that?
stuff.
Is Napa responsible for that, or are you?
Napa
Okay.
will have some free stuff. And
We
then
can rely on Napa. We can't rely on Carson to bring the free stuff.
maybe we're both getting the same present I'm getting.
Yeah, it's Napa stuff.
Napa stuff. Yeah. Oh, we could get some know-how.
Yeah. Well, you need a lot of that.
Shut up. Keep
Oh.
talking.
All right.
Wow.
Usually that's Jim makes those comments.
Yeah, I know, but I spent all week or all day with him at the Harris Clash. So
Oh, you s-
I heard so many stories about you and Supernationals and the things that happen.
we'll hug it out later.
Okay, sounds
Just-
good.
Yes.
Run like hell, Carson. Run
right.
like hell.
But no, we'll have Napa giving away some stuff.
Jerry's in charge of judging the Queen contest, right?
It's a beauty contest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The
No,
NC
and Jim's the star contestant, right?
Well, I have had some ladies
passed.
ask if they could have like a boxer night or something up there, and I didn't know. I told him, I said that was up to Jim.
That's
Well,
your
I'm out.
department.
He judges for that too.
You want to be right up front?
Hey, I got some. Speaking of some of
Yes,
this
caller.
stuff, you know, obviously we had Leah Roten had sent us something.
they're
on
going to
Facebook.
have a prom.
They're gonna have a super
Prelude prom.
Prelude prom.
Yeah, a super Saturday prelude prom. Super
Yeah.
prelude prom. It's on the Facebook page. It's on the private Facebook page. Some details on that, which I thought was kind of cool. We're gonna do a Hawaiian shirt Sunday.
Ooh, duh.
Throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throwback Thursday.
We're gonna do Throwback Thursday. So we're trying to participate in some of this stuff. I sent Nate a picture of the Hawaiian shirt that we're gonna wear, but I don't know if we want to unveil.
No, we just need to show up with it.
I emailed it to you. Yeah.
Oh, you did? We'll have to look at it, Nate.
What about
afterwards.
and the Throwback Thursday too has a different.
Yeah, it's gonna go back to the old mustard yellow shirts,
Oh,
ties.
Jerry, do you have a pair of shorts that would
The
match
newsboy
them?
hat.
I do have a pair of shorts that would match that
You
shirt.
do. I might need to borrow some white shorts from you.
What's that?
I do have a pair of white
I have
shorts.
white shorts.
Cabbie hat, or what do they call that hat?
What is that hat?
Cabbie
We got to
hats.
get the
Newsboy
hats.
They call them cabbie hats or newsboy hats.
Yeah, we got to get some of those. They were yellow.
No, they were white.
No,
Were they white? Oh, okay.
We're gonna try to outfit as many of our officials as I can afford to outfit. Yeah, there's a Hawaiian design. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
a
Oh,
Hawaiian
that's pretty
shirt.
And that still won't
Stock
go
car
with the
racing
yellow
on the
shorts,
bottom.
Jerry.
That'll
that?
go with these yellow shirts.
Yeah,
so?
yellow shorts would go with
I think
that.
that's a different.
It's a
What
different
night's that?
shade of.
shade.
That's Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah.
See, we do all kinds of cool shit like this, Carson.
That just means I have to
Okay.
keep track of what shirts to wear on what day.
Just bring them all.
Just
and
bring them all,
that's what
and when you
everybody
walk
else-
out, when you see somebody, oh, that's the shirt. We're
And if you
wearing.
got the wrong one on, you just go back across the street.
Yeah.
Get the other one. Oh, yeah,
Always
we got
Oh,
bring
that.
there's
all-
the official shirt.
There's
Yes,
a,
those are
that's
the
a
ones I'm
throwback.
excited about.
That's a throwback.
Yeah, I love those.
Yep.
I like the
Go back to the-
tie.
Heck yeah. And we'll wear our newsboy hats.
Yes.
Good times.
Tucked in with a white belt.
I don't know if I'll wear white. I might stop at the shirt.
Well, see, because the rest of that was all yellow. If I remember.
I want
right,
the
wasn't it?
blazer.
It was all. Yeah.
They used to wear. I think they wore wingtips and everything. I think they were.
Oh no,
dressed-
it was to the T.
Yes, and they had blazers even at times. I mean, some of the old officials' outfits are
Red pants.
They were pretty.
I remember the red and white, the white shirts.
They were
and
very
red pants
professional.
years ago.
I guess that's the word you probably look for. They're
Yeah,
very
no, it was.
professional.
Well,
They stood out. I mean,
Yeah.
they definitely stood out.
It was back in
Are
that.
you are you saying we aren't professional now?
Well, the dress codes have changed a little bit over the years.
I think that was a no.
Dress codes have changed a little over the years, but we still want to look professional. I don't know if we necessarily
professional.
I don't know if we necessarily act professional. No, at times we try.
I mean, try our best. We do the best
Our
we
moments of weakness.
can. We have those times where we open the box of bad ideas.
I like to call
Somebody
it I'm
else
having
opens it.
a Jerry moment.
Back in the old days. Hey, speaking of old days, though, Jim, didn't you have a picture for today?
Yeah, where's that one? Did
Picture
you send that to Nate?
Speaking of a promoter that isn't around anymore, when you're talking about Kathy, or were you not ready to show that picture yet?
Well, there it is.
Oh, you didn't want to. There it is.
There it is, Joe Ringsdorf.
That's right. We run into Joe up at Algona a couple
was
weeks ago.
Joe was at Supernationals last year.
Yes,
there
he's
last
come
year.
and talk to us.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
And there's a promoter that, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. He had it down. There's no other way to put it.
He had him and Marion. They had it was their business. That's what they did. I got to meet Joe in '99. Went to work for him in 2000, and I worked for him for 17 years.
yeah.
When he quit promoting he was promoting. I think,
Promote a lot of racetracks up northern. Iowa.
yeah, I mean, he was doing Spencer at one point in time before it was a recreate. They recreated it to where it is now. Fairmont, Algona,
Yep.
Britt, Harlan,
Mason City.
Mason City,
Yeah.
Owatonna.
Yeah.
He had
That southern Minnesota,
southern Minnesota, northern Iowa,
northern Iowa kind of
Southwest
area.
Iowa
And there's
for
been
1
a
year.
lot of super successful racers come out of those. A lot of Supernationals champions come out of
Yep.
that pocket. There's still a lot of successful racers at
Probably-
all of those racetracks.
Probably the last time Mason
Oh.
City was
I had a-
prominent
I
as
bought-
a racetrack.
We were
I bought
talking.
when Joe got out of Mason City, I went to the auction. I don't think you were there. I went to his auction
No.
because he listed everything for sale. I didn't go to the auction. I wanted to buy the
You got what you wanted
I
to
remember
buy.
when
yeah.
you were-
I wanted to buy the semi that was the viewing stand,
trailer,
in the
yeah.
pits, the trailer that was for sale, and so I ended up buying that from Joe through the auction. And had it hauled down to Boone, and it's been at Boone ever since. It got tipped over. I don't
The
know how
wind got it.
I don't know how the hell it fell over. Something big pushed it over.
It was a wind.
Wind blew it over out in the field this year, so we're going to try to repair it and get it put back. But it's kind of like
Keep that in
A
mind,
bummer.
folks, when you're going up there to watch the races.
Yeah, watch where you step. Don't lean up against the railing too much.
It'll be okay.
It'll be fine.
But no, I was talking to we were at Spencer here a couple races ago, and Joe had been back. Joe and Robin had been back for something like over Memorial Day weekend or something, and I can't even remember how we got brought up talking about it. But it was like he says, he says, I told everybody. I says, told them what? I told everybody when everybody was complaining about Joe Ringsdorf and how terrible he was and how when he's finally done, you're going to miss him. And he said,
absolutely.
And he said, I wish we had him back. He says he had it figured out. I mean, he ran it. I mean, it was at Algona. We started at 6:30. We weren't done by 9:15. Oh, and you were flagging. You better be ready for something on the radio to come up.
He always ran a good show. Did I ever tell you have I mentioned the story where I last time I was in Fairmont, or at least when Joe was in Fairmont?
No.
I can't remember the stories I tell. Well, one of my memories from Fairmont and Joe was I was there with my wife. We were there for the races, and the races were over. She had to go to the bathroom, right? So she goes to the bathroom. She has the keys to the van, right? So it's after the races. We were teching a car or hanging out or something. It was a while after the races were over, and we were getting ready to leave. I said, "Let's go." She goes, "All right." We get over there to the van, and it's locked, no keys.
Oh no!
I'm like, "Where are the keys at? How do you get locked?" She goes, "I don't know. I thought I had them in my pocket." I'm like, "Well, where are they at? How can we lose the keys to the van?" So we're like the last people there in the pits. The lights are off, and we have no keys to our locked van. And I'm like, how can this be happening?
Oh, now tell me, did she go to the bathroom in the pit? Oh no,
She's like, "Why? The only place I've been is in the women's bathroom." So we go to the women's bathroom. It's all locked up. Doors are locked on it. I'm like, "You have got to be kidding me." So she's like, that's the only place I could have dropped him or set him down would have been in there when I washed my hands or something like that. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So of course I was not nice. I wasn't that kind. I think I was pretty irritated with the whole
were you
situation.
barking at her at this situation?
I was like, how did the hell this happen? I probably was swearing.
What?
But so I was like, I'll call Joe. So I called Joe. I was like, "Hey, Joe, you got the keys to the bathroom?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Where are you at?" He goes, "Well, I'm already down the road." He was down the road like 20 minutes or something like that. He was already gone. That's how late we were there. So Joe came all the way back and unlocked the bathroom to Fairmont in the pits, and my car keys were on the counter in the bathroom.
Why? So if they were in her pocket, why did she take them out of her pocket and set it on the
She
counter?
would carry them a lot too, though.
Oh.
My guess is that after the races were over, she just had them in her hand. She had locked the van, walked over there, had them in her hand, and then when
Set them down.
set them down, and then walked out, and then. But they were sitting on the counter. I'm like,
Now,
what are the odds? How does this
This
happen?
had to have been a long time ago
So
because
weird.
I know that she always carries the keys like at Supernationals, and when it's time to go, she just leaves.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you're at.
Yeah.
She just, I'm leaving, Brett.
Yep. Just do what I'm told. Happy wife, happy life. I know I've said that before. Remember that, Carson.
Oh,
my advice
I'm
to
trying. I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember.
Carson who's celebrated
He has a,
what,
hey,
one
he
year
had,
anniversary.
he does have a hard time.
1 year
remembering.
anniversary last weekend.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
She celebrated by kicking him out of the house to come to Vinton for a few days. I think things are going well up north.
Well, not quite well, but they're going.
Oh, there's that telephone again.
Speak of the devil.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh no.
Is that the wife?
Put her on speaker.
No.
Yes.
It'll be fun.
Come on, it's NC-17.
Not.
That's
Answer
definitely what it would be if she would realized she was on the podcast.
Where are you at?
Doing a podcast.
Lunch is ready. It's
Ooh,
getting
from
cold.
Jerry was late.
Jerry forgot he had an appointment this morning. I'm sorry that I
Yeah, you were
effed
late.
it all up.
Ruined my donuts for breakfast and everything.
I had one.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
They were
They're
out
good.
there on the
They're on the
counter.
counter.
I even
had
went
one.
past them.
Yeah, they're on the snack.
Did you have any for sprinkles? Was there any sprinkles?
Yes.
Ooh, those are for winners.
I like the ones with white frosting and sprinkles.
Sprinkles.
Don't really like filling all that much, although I'll eat the ones with filling in them.
See, but
It
I like
depends what it
I like
is.
the
Really
chocolate
depends.
donut with the white frosting and sprinkles. Like if it's the white cake donut.
I don't like
You
chocolate.
don't like the cake donuts?
I mean, I do, but I mean, if I'm going to get the white frosting and sprinkle, I got a chocolate.
You've
donut.
really turned
But
down
we
the
could
cake
technically
donut.
got a Casey's pizza.
Obviously not.
If we'd have been a little bit more, planning ahead, we could have just got a Casey's.
Well, I mean, I'm
pizza.
playing the game. I got to stop at Casey's on the way out of town. So
Is that where we're going to lunch?
apparently, we got to get gas first.
Here we are, Carson. You're what? February, March, April, May, June, July. 5 months or so into your
Sure.
IMCA experiment. Give us an update. Was it everything you thought it would be and more, or what?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Everything I thought it would be and more. I'm just worried that I'm going to forget something for Supernationals.
Like
I think
it's a
we all
big
have
week.
that fear.
But-
We all
big
worry.
week.
Yeah, because I had to. We were having the conversation about forgetting things, and Ryan says, I have a list, and there's 45 things I have to check before I even leave the house to go to Boone.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be organized.
And I'm like,
gotta
you
be
can buy
prepared.
that stuff at the.
No, it's not
The
just
most
that stuff. I
forgotten
mean, it's
thing-
stuff I want to bring.
For the Supernationals is I forget a belt every year. So you
Sounds
have to
like-
run to Walmart and get a belt.
How do you forget?
Sounds like a top 10 list. We need to do a top 10 list for the Supernationals. We really
Top
do.
Things you forget. to
Top
bring
10
to
things you
Boone.
forget to bring at Boone, or top 10
Yeah.
things you want to forget
Top
at Boone.
things you won't.
10
tell-
things you
I
need.
think number one will be
Top things.
Self-respect,
top thing
dignity.
10s you.
morals.
Maybe a pair of underwear. Maybe.
Yeah, we no, I was gonna.
I
we're gonna
came
do
to
a-
Supernationals with 10 pair of underwear and left with none. But I borrowed somebody's for 10 minutes.
There you go. We're going back to the
We're going
16
back to
candles.
16 candles.
top 10 historical moments of the Supernationals. We need to come up with a top 10 list for the Supernationals.
Now, when you say
I'm serious.
historical,
It's
there's
gonna
a
end up
lot
on a
of-
shirt.
That's encompassing a lot of things.
This is gonna
Oh,
end up
boy.
on
It
a
is.
shirt.
You don't have the shirts ordered yet? What do you mean it's going to be on a shirt?
I have them, or it's gonna be. It's only August 9th.
Yeah, come on. It's not like it's August 32nd.
It's not like it's
I have
only
the
18
This is why I get so.
working days.
art-
This is why I'm a dick this time of year.
The
G. I get
artwork,
tense.
the artwork is designed. We just don't know what the top 10 list is gonna be about. We just
What's
haven't
the
decided.
theme? Top 10.
That's what I said. We should need to come up with a top 10 idea. You know,
Oh.
historical moments, top 10 things to don't forget, top 10 things
Things
you
to forget.
you
10.
want to forget,
Top 10
Nate,
things
Nate.
witnessed after
Top 10
hours.
things you would leave in.
When will
Boone.
this be posted?
top 10 of attractions at the
fans. I don't know.
Supernationals. We've done
We could have people comment
Yeah, I
their
don't know if
ideas.
we
Yeah.
want that.
we've done a lot of
That would be NC-17.
we've done
It's
a
all
lot
right.
of different. When we haven't done a top 10 shirt for quite a while.
No, it's been a
years.
while.
Oh, they're a lot of fun though.
It's been many years.
They are. Yeah, we find some humor in them. Some I don't know. Some people always get our jokes though.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
jokes are-
Sometimes we're
Sometimes-
just we're just
sometimes-
not funny.
Yes,
so
yeah.
it's, there's,
Well, we
and
get them, and
sometimes
that's all
they're
that
not
counts at the
jokes.
end of the day.
what's that, Jim?
We get them, and that's all that counts
Oh.
at the end of the day.
Yep.
I'm thinking of a number, Jim. Thinking of a number.
64.
No.
64.
Okay, what's that number?
Where's my envelope?
Oh boy.
How many alternative rule cars raced last weekend?
Oh, there was that many? That was like 40 some.
Yeah,
That number
it
in my
could have
head
been.
was 42.
I got numbers confused. I got fans in the stands
Well,
and
see,
cars.
then he's
so
well.
it's
Then he
one
gets
of the two.
confused on his what favorite sandwich he's getting. Is it a number 7? Is it a number 10?
Hey, we had a race in Dashford. Was it a Dirt Crown race?
Yeah, Dirt
Yeah,
Crown race at
5,000.
Dashwood.
Dirt Crown stock car race, and
5,000 to win.
Jim was there.
Jed
Who won
Williams.
that?
I was there.
Jed
Who won that?
Williams.
Jed Williams.
Jed.
Ted Williams won it.
Jed
Jed
Not
Williams.
Ted. Jed.
His baseball card's worth a pile of money, isn't it?
Yeah.
You
Could
know,
be.
and it's one of them deals that, everything was aligned. I mean, it was a memorial race for Remington, Elting. I'm probably pronouncing his last name wrong. But,
I do that a lot.
Jed was one of his good friends. And it's always neat when you see that. And, we had a restart with about 4 to go. And, Jed's got Jesse Sobbing right behind him, Grabowski behind him. And I mean, they're just stacked up. I mean, it was
So
a
he's
great
safe.
field of cars.
You just didn't want to be in fourth in that situation.
Well, you want to or don't want to.
Well, you
might want to be in fourth in that
Third.
situation.
Didn't we have a Supernationals kind of end like that one year?
Yeah, you wanted to start 33rd.
Wasn't it Seifert was in the lead?
Seifert was leading.
And
Him and
Sobbing
Sobbing
was in
went.
second.
That was a
Second.
Sunday, and that's when Donovan Smith won her from the tail, and he won with
Oh, the
half a
stock
race
car,
car.
yeah.
Hey, this is a true story.
Like
So
2 years ago.
It was a Sunday show.
this is what happened for me during that situation, right? So we're watching that, and it was a great race, right? And so the Jumbotron goes out under one of the cautions, and you remember this, Nate? The Jumbotron ran out
Or
of
run
diesel.
out of gas.
Right? So it ran out of diesel. It not only happens at Vegas, it happens at Boone too. So, but I don't think the same people were putting the fuel in there. I was apparently responsible for the diesel fuel in the Jumbotron.
They have races in Vegas.
So I ran up there. Yeah, they did. I ran up to the hill, grabbed some diesel, went over to there to put it into the Jumbotron, and like Seifert was leading and Sobbing was in second or something like that,
Yeah.
right? And by the time I went down and got the diesel can and come back up, Donovan Smith won the race, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? I didn't see any of it, and so of course there was some drama, and everybody's like,
it was spectacular.
It was
Hey, if
exciting.
you
there were some pissed off people and fans and I mean, it's how it all played out. We can't control those things, but there people want my opinion. I'm like, I didn't see it, and I always get this a lot. You don't ever see anything. I'm like, well, this one I really didn't see.
I was filling the Jumbotron with diesel.
I was putting gas in the Jumbotron.
You know what you should have told them?
I mean-
well, hey, for $24.99, I'll go back and watch the replay
Yeah,
for 30
I
days.
went back and watched it. It was dramatic.
Yes.
Dramatic.
Yes.
Whenever you have Sobbing involved, there's some drama.
I mean, they call him Crazy 99. for a
Hell
reason.
yeah, he's got a Tasmanian devil on the side of his freaking car.
What do you expect?
But
But
he's not going
it-
to act like Tweety Bird. You know what I mean?
It was a great finish.
He's a great
and
racer.
once again,
Maybe that could
You
be
know-
like the top 10 idea shirts.
What?
10
Jed
races.
deserved to
best
win that
finishes.
race more than anybody. I mean, it was just perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
here's a guy pulls in with a pickup truck and an open trailer, and
Wins a
he's-
$5,000 show.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that was his first
and-
win of the year. It was his first 40-point win of the year for sure.
Crazy.
Yeah,
If you go on Facebook, people say that stuff don't happen anymore.
it
really does.
Oh, it happens every
It
day.
really does happen all over the place. Very cool. Congratulations to him.
You know why you don't hear it and see it? Because it was a positive.
Maybe he'll
thing.
come to Supernationals because that's actually
That's actually an
That gets him
automatic
in there.
qualifier.
Big into
for the
And
the
I
B&B.
did ask him about that after the races, and
It's an automatic bid
I
to the
kind of
All-Star
made
for
the
stock
mistake of when I got to the track, I parked right next to him, and and he's a hometown guy too. So when a hometown guy wins his friend's memorial race for $5,000, there's a party there. So
The party was
I had
on.
to try to weave my car
They were
through,
dancing around Jim's car.
dancing on the car.
It's better than the alternative, though, Jim. Haven't you ever had those moments where the night doesn't end quite like you planned, and you're like, "Oh God, I got to get out of here." And we do like it's kind of like
It's the Homer Simpson into the hedges.
the anxiety is high, and you're like, "Oh God."
People ask how come IMC all our vehicles are black. That way we can sneak out if we have to.
Yeah. Why don't you put IMCA down the side of it? Well,
Yeah, okay.
Right.
We don't
don't-
like key
yeah,
marks
yeah.
on
I
our
got
cars.
tired of fixing the paint.
yeah, we don't need to. Yeah.
We used to have those magnetized.
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
that you
They-
could
they-
put on
keys
the
are
side.
meant
Those
to-
are a great idea until you go too fast, and they just end up in the ditch.
Keys are meant
They
to
work good in
start
parades,
cars,
though.
not
What's that?
keys are meant to start cars, not draw
Yeah.
in cars with.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But no, it played out perfect Sunday night in Deschler, and
That's good.
it was a great show, and once again, it's one of them times you just sit there and smile because it just couldn't have worked out better for Jed. So that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun to be at.
And he has not registered for Supernationals yet. I just checked. So
And
Maybe this
once
will-
again, I
maybe
mentioned
it'll
it to him.
convince
He
him.
goes,
Even if he doesn't come, congratulations
Yeah.
to him.
Yes.
absolutely.
I think I'm going to do one of those boon-bound things
Like what? What
with
do you
my
mean?
stock car.
What?
Yeah.
are you going?
Except
You
I'm
have to be
I'm gonna have-
registered.
Hold on.
first.
We got to see if Carl Frederick's
No, it's
free
going to
that
say
week.
it's going to say not boon-bound.
Oh, so you're
'Cause
not
I
even
think,
gonna be.
I think it's sitting out here with 4 flat tires still.
It doesn't have any dents in it either, does it?
No,
Ah,
it's
we don't want-
race perfect.
You and race cars just kind of
We got our
clash.
we're at our crash of the week segment. we've
Box of
done
bad ideas.
sport
Yeah,
mods, we've
buying
done
a stock car.
bicycles, and I
Oh
see
yeah,
a
you
Band-Aid
crashed your
on-
bike. How
Didn't
yeah,
you talk about that last week? I thought you
Yeah, we
about
talked
that.
about the bike crash. You got a Band-Aid on your arm. There's got to be a story to that too.
I crashed a bike.
No, this week we
Yeah, he
were
talked
talking
about
about.
that.
No,
we
we,
didn't have a podcast since then.
Yeah, he talked about crashing his bike last week.
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Where were you, Jerry?
when did the bike crash happen?
It happened. It wasn't. It was last Friday.
Yeah, no, we didn't talk about the
Oh.
bike
Was
this
crash
past
last week.
So I
Last
must have
Friday?
jinxed
Yeah.
myself.
So you must have hurt yourself doing something else for the week
yeah,
before.
I just went off the sidewalk just enough. And if you're clipped in, look
Ooh,
out.
and you don't get out of the clips fast enough?
You can't get out of the clips fast enough. You just look like a moron when that happens, like an idiot.
Yeah, you can do
You
it like
get
at
up-
the intersection of 71 and 86 at
Well, I tore
Okoboji.
my arm up, you know, and I couldn't imagine if I was actually going fast. You watch some of those bicycle crashes where they're going like 25 mile an hour, you know, the Tour de France for 4 straight hours.
You really
I mean,
need to start
they're like
taking-
machines,
I
and
have-
they crash.
I had a crash happen in front. We were on a ride in Des Moines and come down this big hill going to Adele. And like 2 guys in front of me they just touched bars. Next thing we know, I mean, he's
much.
through the intersection, Superman in it, and
You need to take care of yourself
It is
because you're not
dangerous.
getting any younger, Grandpa.
yeah,
No, I'm not.
No.
No, I'm not.
yeah, you got to be around. You're gonna have to think about these decisions you make in life, Brad.
Yeah.
You know,
Careless little bike rides.
yeah, these
You just
careless
don't put all
bike
the thought
rides
into
and
it.
this.
But you
know,
see guys that are like
racing a stock car,
racing bicycles, and they break their femur and they break their
Right.
back, and they,
Oh,
you know,
you can die.
yeah, it's. I was not going very fast. I tore my arm up, and I did the walk of shame. You know, pick your bike up. And
Did you look around to see if anybody?
there
saw
was
you?
a guy right there beside me. I look like a moron. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, everything but my pride."
Yeah, when I didn't get in,
First time for everything. I'm out of here. See you later.
I would assume everybody who's been on a bike has fallen off of one at some point. Maybe,
yeah, but
maybe not. When
you,
you're 50.
you haven't experienced crashing a weird feeling on a bicycle until you're clipped.
Ooh, that is
Right.
Until
that
you're
is
locked to
the
your bicycle and start to fall.
when you're locked in and you can't put your foot down to catch yourself. It's
do it in your
you
garage?
just go like, whoa.
Have you done it in your garage? I mean, I've done it in my garage.
I didn't. I know the first time. I mean, I was pretty okay with clips, but like that one time I did, it is the most. I mean, it really is the most awkward yet scariest
like
feeling because you have no control. You can't get unclipped
helpless?
and get your foot down,
clunk.
and then next thing you know, you're like you said. I mean, I go to the ground, I get up, honk honk, and guys doing this out the window,
like the
and I'm
motorcycles that tip over. And what movie was that?
That was
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
big. Yeah,
That's it.
Dumb and Dumber.
He wasn't clipped in though. He just had his fancy shoes.
yeah.
But anyhow,
You
Why
know,
did I remember that?
you know, I
I actually remembered it too.
I got a question for the panel.
Uh-oh.
Let's say you guys all race sport mods,
Okay, say we did.
okay? And it's April 17th and 18th, and you race the sport mod, where would you be?
April
17th.
No, August.
You said
17th.
April,
You said
dummy.
April.
Oh, don't listen to what I say.
Oh shit, you're right. Well, if I had to take one
I'd
guess,
go up
I
north.
would probably go chase $10,000 at the Captain of the Creek at the
Ding,
141
ding, ding.
International Super Speedway.
Correct. How much is that, Jerry? $10,000.
$10,000.
we got
And
any
you know the
predictions,
racing's going to be
early
good.
picks?
All racing at 141 Speedway is
Hey,
good.
hey! You know who's not going to win that race?
Who?
Benji.
Carl
Lacrosse.
Fredrickson.
Yeah,
Benji,
Benji
yeah,
Lacrosse will not win that race.
Benji's not winning that one.
Wasn't
Big
it,
money Benji can't win that one.
wasn't it
Show
last year
Benji.
it came down to a photo finish? Or wasn't it
Yeah,
last year?
something
Was
like that.
It was like last
Colby-
year or
was
2
it
years
Colby
before. It was
Fett
Colby
that
Fett,
Yes,
and
it was.
I mean, it was right at the line. I mean,
Oh,
Colby
it was-
had actually Colby lost that deal.
Yes.
He'd led 40. I think he'd led 49 laps and got passed coming to the checkers.
By Benji?
by
No,
Benji.
Benji can't
I
race a
don't
sport.
remember who won that.
I mean, you can't race a sport mod and a modified, but you can
And
race
people
this.
ask why we have that rule.
Trust me, I know, because now is the time where we start seeing
This
this
time
what
of
we call
year.
musical memberships. You know, it's like
Yeah.
all of a sudden this guy wants to race a modified. It's like, whoa, or all of a sudden this guy wants to race a sport mod. Or all of a sudden they're turning their licenses in. There's a little bit of a false narrative as to why we allow it and what we allow. What
So
we
say
don't.
I had a modified, and
Yeah.
I wanted to all of a sudden decide I wanted to race a hobby stock,
And you called us up.
and I go, hello.
We would ask a couple of questions, and then we would look at schedules, and then we would look at purses, and we
And
try to
then we
figure
would
out
probably say no.
what you're up to. That's usually how it goes down when you have guys in mods that all of a sudden want to be sport mod racers. We'll ask a question. Usually
Around
our
the
membership,
15th of August.
it gets flagged in our system, so our system kind of gives the Kim and Virginia and the points department, sometimes Ryan, a little bit of a warning. Hey, what's going on? And then they don't know necessarily some of the stuff that we know or we see out at events. You know, what people are up to. But usually there's a reason for it. Sometimes people run out of money. That is a reason.
Yeah.
And they just switch divisions. So there are circumstances where we allow people to switch classes, and there's no harm in it. And we don't want to obstruct that. We want to have rules that say, oh, you have to race a car you can't afford.
It's the drivers who run like a modified, but they want to do a one-off sport mod race and then go back and
Correct.
do a
Yeah, just
modified that we just don't allow.
And there just happened to be a 3,000 to win sport mod show at their local track that weekend.
Yeah. That's a common misconception, is that you can automatically do that, and that is not
drop
the
down
case.
for one race and then switch back. We don't allow that.
Yeah.
We try to head it off. Not that everything doesn't get caught on our radar. It does happen, but the sport mod, the Southern Sport Mod Nationals at KSP is probably going to be an issue where we've already put the track a little bit on warning. Hey, listen, we don't want mod guys, and it's our perspective is you don't want mod racers poaching sport mod races.
Nope.
It's just not fair to the sport mod guys that are building that class or are that class.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we just don't let them poach it, and people will say, oh, I don't race IMCA. I race USRA modifieds, so that don't count, right? No, that counts.
Wrong.
And if we find it out, we're not going to let them race it. We're not going to sell sport mod
Because like I said,
license
you're going in.
to guys racing outlaw modifieds, UMP modifieds, unsanctioned modifieds.
World
If
of
any
Outlaw
guy
late models.
wants to show up, borrow a car, or race a car that he doesn't even own. Usually somebody else owns it in those circumstances too. We'll head that off. KSP is going to be the good example, probably the best potential situation where that's going to happen this year with the Southern Sport
mods.
Supernationals down there on, obviously in the first week in September.
Yeah.
And we're going to head it off. We've already got people calling and asking. And that's one of the nice things too. I mean, some people tip us off, which is always a little bit of a help.
Well, I was announcing with you and Boone Saturday night, and my Facebook Messenger went off asking about a guy who was racing both a modified and a sport mod.
Then I got asked about, during the farm set or the track prep session, hey, explain what, if you race a hobby stock, you can race a sport compact and you can race sport mod, correct?
There are some that cross over as well.
And then
Sounds right.
if you race a sport mod, you can race a hobby stock or a stock.
It's listed on the rules.
Yeah.
It's on the rules, but we generally speaking.
You can't race like a late model and run a sport compact. I mean, there is a transition thing there of where you can and cannot run.
It's generally hobby stocks and stock car guys. Those guys usually, hobby stock guys, a lot of them end up being stock car racers.
Yep.
And sometimes the stock car racers end up being back in the hobby stock division. And so that's the connection we primarily target is hobby stocks, stock cars, the connection of those two divisions, and sport mods and modifieds. Southern's and Northern sport mods attached to modifieds.
Yeah.
We try to, those are the ones, that's our main concern. And it is to keep stock car guys out of hobby stock 2,000 to win special events. It is to keep modified guys out of 10,000 to win sport mod events. I mean, if we allowed it to happen, Benji Lacrosse would be racing a sport mod.
Yeah, he would.
At 141 in a week, and no offense to him, but we're protecting the sport mod racers. It's in our best interest that we have a rule like this. It's in their best interest that we have a rule like this.
Correct.
It's not in our best interest because we charge for licenses. So if a guy wanted to have a license in
every
I wanted to give you
division.
$95,
class,
I could go race.
He could race in every class.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's in our best interest.
IMCA
to
ripping
stop
people
it.
off.
It's the racer's best interest that these things are prevented, and that's why we kind of stick to our guns to it. We aren't perfect. It slips through the cracks. We have people, not necessarily have the middle name. We've seen weird things.
Yeah. And it's like I've always said, I mean, some of it has to be like morally incorrect. Like I race a modified.
I don't know if it morally would be.
To me, it is. I mean, why would I go down there and beat up on these guys?
Racers want to race. You can't ever fault them for that.
But you got to have some sort of like.
There got to be some guidelines.
Yeah,
that's just one we try to stick true to, and it's worked well for us. I think it's worked well for the sport mod divisions and the hobby stock division.
And we really haven't had as much problem with it in recent years as we have in the past. I mean, this is the time of year we see it, but it's not
as we get into some
widespread
specials.
as it.
And when we first got involved with the Southern Sport Mod division down in Texas, the racetracks down there allowed it. It was a non-sanctioned class, and they allowed sport mods and modifieds guys to race both. Keith White did it for many years.
Oh gosh, yes he did. There's a ton of them down there
successfully for many years. But the tracks, the interesting thing about that is we allowed it because it was already going on. We didn't want to, but we did. And it got to the point where the racetrack said, we don't want this to go on anymore. And the promoters at the promoter meeting that Jim and I were at voted not to let that happen anymore.
Yep.
And so we put a stop to it. Say, okay, we'll support it. We'll take our lumps, and we did. Telling guys like Keith, you got to pick which one you want to race. It was not. They were not happy about that, you know. So but we did that in the best interest of the racetracks and the racers and the division, and we got past that. And here we are still, what, in 2022, fending off that down there potentially at KSP, which, you know, I mean, everything just kind of recycles the issues. But
You know,
it'll be a good race.
Speaking of big races, we got another one coming up around the Labor Day time.
Oh, we're
3 guesses.
watching the highlights of it
Eagle.
right now.
That's
Saber
right.
Nationals.
Race
Eagle,
Saver.
Race Saver Nationals.
We need to get
And,
Roger
I
on the
mean,
show. Would Roger be on the show?
I thought you were going to try to get
Yeah.
Roger on the show this week.
Next
We'll
week.
have to do it
Next week.
Next week.
Maybe
Will he
can we
do it? Has he said he'll do it?
We'll trick him into it.
We should do Roger next week and Lottie the following week, and then we're set for.
You know,
If you could get Lottie to do it,
I'd just pick him up, bring him over.
Cody said he'd drive him over here.
you don't
We
think
gotta
you want
drive
to
him
get him
over
on
there,
the
but I
show?
just don't know when it would be. Or
Can you
you could
imagine?
drive
driving
him
Miss
over here.
Daisy.
Lottie will get in a car with you?
We went to Missouri and back together. I
Oh
drove.
my
He just
God.
sat in the passenger seat, took a couple naps.
Lottie, I'm sorry if you're listening.
Oh man, I've lived that pain
Don't
before.
hold this again. Don't hold it against us.
It's actually a good time.
For you, probably not for him.
But you know, you talk about, you know, what the I wish Roger was here right now. He could tell us how many years the Race Saver National has been going on. But to build a race, build an event that quick, I can't remember the last time it's been done. I mean, we're talking probably close to, if not over 100 sprint cars for this race. And I mean, they just do a fantastic job. I mean, Roger can probably fill us in more next week, but you know, there's stuff going on in the pits after the races, and you know, it's a super, you know, like we do at the Supernationals. The tech is outstanding there. I mean, it's about a 2-day to pre-tech all the cars, and you know, and the good news is, once again, French Grimes is planning on making the trip west to be there once again to kind of oversee the tech area and just to, you know, oversee the whole event. And it's great to be able to see French. It's really the one time a year I get to visit him at a racetrack, and I really look forward to it.
It is the 10th annual
There you
Race
go.
Saber Nationals, so
Time flies.
it certainly does.
Crazy.
Yeah, it does. Really does. But it's just an outstanding event, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think once again, you know, Roger and Racine, they just keep making it better and better every year. And you know, they're not resting. They're adding more events and adding more camping and more amenities for the customers. And it just, like I said, just keeps getting better and better every year. So we'll have to get Roger on next week.
It'd be great to have him on the show.
Got a chance to take in some good Race Saver sprint car racing.
Oh, you did the
on Monday night front row challenge.
How'd that go?
challenge.
19 of them. Great show.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
a few years since I've been to Oski.
Yeah. I think last year, I think it was 16 or 17 last year. It's always hovers right at that 20 mark.
Yeah, and I think that's all they really want.
And they
for
come
it, to
from
be
all
very
over
honest.
too. I mean, they come from
Yeah.
like southeast Iowa, western Iowa, Nebraska. I think
Nebraska, yeah.
Missouri,
Yep.
Sprint cars on half miles are a good show. I mean, I think. I mean, that's kind of the. To me, a sprint car on a half mile is I think can be entertaining.
Put
'Cause
them on a little bull
I like
ring
it.
and
I
watch
like
them.
it can be entertaining.
I-
Well, okay, so sprint cars.
If you
on-
want to see sprint cars for speed, a half mile is perfect.
perfect.
But
That's
if
just
you
it.
want
You
to
get
see
a-
them bang wheels
the
and
awesomeness of how fast a sprint car can
Eagle
go.
is perfect.
Eagle is, as we saw to the finish last year. even
Yeah, I
with
mean,
that,
you know,
they
last year's finish.
banging wheels
Yeah.
coming to the checker, and you don't think, you know, in a
showed it.
sprint car, you've got to be precise if you're going to bang wheels.
Yeah, it seems every year there's finishes like that. You know, we had last year, and I think a couple years before that, I think Kevin Ramey got the controversial win. And, you know, once again, it was exciting last half lap. So,
Did we go over our time yet? I think we did.
We
I don't
did.
even
We're
know
like
what time
10
we
minutes
started.
over.
Well,
are we?
well, before
Oh, we're
before
10
we
over.
sign off, I have a
Nate
quick
shaking his
question for the whole panel.
Hey, he's talking.
Hey,
For
Hey!
my
Hey,
my
caller.
first Supernationals, what is one thing from each of you that I should look out for or try to experience there at the Supernationals? This would be good for any fans listening, too, that are coming to their first
Who's
one.
going first?
Look out for as far as be leery of or to anticipate
Just
or look forward
anticipate,
to?
experience, look forward
I
to.
don't think there's anything to
Or
be leery of.
Eat some food if there's
Well, you gotta
any
have a steak
specific
sandwich.
food.
Steak sandwich.
Everybody loves those steak sandwiches.
I do.
Yeah.
It'll go by really fast.
It will. You think it's going to be a long week, but it's from what you're doing now as part of the building up and the preparing process. It's going to be a matter of endurance, and 8 days will fly by. It will go really
By
quick.
Tuesday, you'll be like, "Is it over?" And by Saturday, you want it to start over again.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like you
Correct.
always
And
get
that's the one thing every year you get in the middle of it, you're dreading it, you're tired, but as soon as that final checkered flag falls, you're just ready for the next year. And it really kind of gets you when you pull out the next day, or that night, and you see the pits kind of emptying out, and it's just oh man, another one done.
It's
You
crazy
just can't wait
Yeah.
it
to
goes
the
by
next year.
It goes by. It's interesting because the prelude nights, 2 nights of racing, different divisions of cars. So each day is different. So it kind of feels like you're at a different race each day because it's different divisions of cars.
Right.
And so by the time you get to like Monday or even like Tuesday, usually for me, a Tuesday you're like, oh my gosh, it's only Tuesday.
Right.
We've been doing this for how long? And then you get into Wednesday, and then it's like, and then it seems to accelerate. Thursday and Friday come pretty quick. There's a lot of stuff going on, more races, more cars, usually a little bit. All-Star Invitationals and Race of Champions stuff and everything. It just seems to accelerate. And then you get to Saturday, and it's like a decompress. And like, okay, I'm ready to go home and sleep in my own bed.
From a fan position or from that standpoint, Wednesday was always my favorite day because
Yeah.
qualifying to me is more intense and exciting than, you want to crown your champions and stuff, but the qualifying is where it's at for me personally. And first day of modifieds, first day of stock cars, everybody is on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Everybody wants to start from the pole of their respective championship, but you've also got last chance qualifying for the hobby stocks, last chance qualifying for the sport mods. So there's a little bit of everything, and it's kind of intense for different ways. So that's my favorite. You're going to be part of it all week anyway. So.
Well, yeah, and I just thought that was a good question, not only just for me, but like I said, for fans that might be coming to the first one, drivers,
The thing you want to avoid at the Supernationals
this is going to be
is
good.
rain.
Avoid rain.
Yeah.
I knew somebody's going to say it. Pray for good weather.
You want to avoid
And
those shenanigans.
Just in case, Carson, just in case, stop at Farm Fleet or Walmart.
You
or
need to make sure you got a pair of muck boots.
bring
Oh,
a
I
pair
got a
of
few.
bring a pair of
Yeah,
rain boots.
and
just in
comfy,
case.
not the cheap $30 pair, but spend like the $100 because if we have to be in them, if you're in them for more than a day. I think
But-
that year that it rained every day, I don't think I wore anything but those. And I'm glad I spent the money.
I've only ever
But
worn
those
tennis
days are
shoes, though.
past, Jerry.
Yes, they're done.
We're back on that streak of going 17 straight years with no rain.
And even if
So-
it does rain, though, it might
Let's
not
hope.
seem fun, but you make memories there.
Yeah, it
Regardless.
does.
There are
There's-
people that
Yeah.
have struggled through the weather there that still have fond memories of the event.
Drive your
Watching the jet dryer.
Drive your golf cart slow and respectable, so you aren't the one that gets blamed for getting them parked.
When the races end, go straight home. Don't go anywhere near Jerry.
Exactly.
Yes.
I've
Or if
heard
you
that.
do
I've
it,
heard
do
that
it,
Go to
do
the
it,
hotel.
do it
go
on
to bed.
feet. Yeah, that's what a lot of people they always say. Oh, I want to ride. I want to go. You see more things when you just walk around,
Right.
and
if
you get
the
to talk.
cops are there with the canine dog,
Don't pet
try
it.
to pet it.
Yeah, Jesus.
It's on duty.
But anyway, fans, if you guys have any questions, I think you guys should
Bring-
at least
stay-
write something on the comment section on Facebook.
We'll start a top 10.
Yeah.
You know
what to expect.
top 10 a shirt idea. I throw it on
Yeah.
the Facebook page and see what people
We
say.
should do that. Yeah, throw it up there.
See if we get anything that sticks. Because we could always come up with something. We've done a bunch from top 10 attractions,
Yeah.
top 10, all kinds of interesting stuff.
What are
but
we
they're
gonna
funny
do
to
our-
us. Sometimes they're
Our
not
live
as,
podcast where fans can call in.
I've been asked this multiple times, Nate. They want to know when we can. We've got Jim from Omaha on callers on line 7. They want to know when
Jerry
this
from
is-
Urbandale.
What do you mean it's not? Do you have all the technology figured out to make it happen? So we could make. Ooh, but see, then we've got to go live. It has to be like at a noon or a 7 p.m. It's got to be a lot. I mean,
So when we say we're going to have a 10 o'clock, you can't just show up.
You
at
can't show up at
11:30.
11:30.
Yeah.
Without lunch.
yeah,
People will be waiting.
or we can't just sit in our office, pretend we're on the phone because we're still putting an itinerary together.
Who does that?
What's itineraries?
We haven't had an agenda.
Wait,
For that.
we shoot from the hip, Jerry.
Oh, yeah, I don't think one of these has ever been scripted.
We've had
So episode
topics.
NC-17. I don't know if there's anything that really has been, much NC-17 rated.
No.
The start of it was a little bit.
start
Jim,
of it
you
was-
got
got a
jumping on
little rough.
trampolines, Jim?
I tried to load a video and I can't get it done. I mean, I got just a still
Well,
picture.
The NC-17 theme could go into Carson's questions. What
Carson,
should I take in?
Yeah, what do you wanna-
Supernationals.
My wife is coming.
Well,
I've
maybe
got-
she
Whoa,
wants to take
whoa,
part.
you're-
Maybe she
what-
wants to take part in the festivities.
Yeah, maybe she would like to experience her first Supernationals.
I don't think she wants to take
I've,
part.
I've got a few you should stay away from.
Yeah.
I've got I've got some things that go in places that should never be there, and I've witnessed it firsthand.
No.
Yes, empty beer bottles should always go in trash receptacles,
Mag lights should only be used in emergency
and
situations.
J bars go on race cars.
Oh no.
I was
Sounds
gonna,
like the back
I was
of a
gonna tell a
t-shirt.
Yes,
story,
it
but it pales in comparison to that.
No. All right, we'll wrap it up. So our next episode, 18.
What's 18 going to be called?
What's an 18 going to be, Jerry?
Oh, we're finally going to be adults
Yeah, that'll never happen.
legally.
No.
Try again.
Yeah, try
Legally.
legally. 18. Well, 18 we'll have hopefully you will
Roger.
lie, cheat,
We'll
and
have
steal
Roger.
Roger onto this deal. We'll talk about the Race Saver Nationals. We'll talk about we don't know what we're going to talk about. It'll just happen.
It'll happen.
Carson, Carson will be back next week.
Yep.
He'll be here.
I'll be in the office.
He's commuting.
He's commuting.
Yes.
That's a hell of a commute.
It
Can I
is
get
a
to
long
stay in the
commute.
5-star resort in Vinton?
Oh, yeah.
Remember, steak and
cobblestone.
lobster.
Yeah.
Steak and lobster? Holy cow. They serve that at the Pizza Ranch?
Torpedo
hey,
chicken. That's the only thing that.
schedule.
Hey, you didn't even talk about the cool trophies. and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
exactly.
Hey, well,
Yeah.
I thought people were just looking at them.
You can't see him. That one's been out there. The Eagle's been out there. Is that a Race of Champions or an
This
All-Star
one,
trophy?
that's
That's the mod. Is that the mod trophy?
That's the mod trophy.
That's the big dance winner Saturday night.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
We're gonna stick with our. I just, I don't know how long we've been doing the mini helmets. We've been doing.
I
those-
love the
those
mini helmet
cool.
deals.
trophies for.
I saw one time the guy
Quite
took
some
the mini
time.
helmet off and they took shots out of it after he won.
Yeah, it's
What,
just a
like a
cup.
glass?
Yeah.
There's a glass. It's like
down in the
a
field.
drinking glass. It's a plastic one. You just pull it right off. You shouldn't break it. It's just a cup. That's all it
Break it, you
is.
buy it.
It's a water glass at the local
could-
family restaurant.
We can put
At
some
the Pizza
Boone's,
Ranch.
Boone's Farm wine in that sucker in Victory Lane, and they can just drink it out.
Oh, what's cool about what a lot of people don't know is, I mean,
It is actually a little helmet.
It is
That would probably fit my granddaughter right
I
now.
was just going to say that.
the visor. It's got the
It's the real deal.
straps. I mean,
It's a mini helmet.
Look at it. I mean, this is
It's got the
there's-
bell sticker on it.
got the sticker there. I mean, it doesn't have the SFI rating that we talked about, but we all know that. But no, it's an actual. These are, they're like you said. They're. I think that I think if you went away from the helmet thing, it wouldn't.
We got this. That'll work.
Yeah.
The strap gets caught over the
Strap
glass.
gets-
Jerry already
Now-
broke the trophy.
now
Oh,
Jerry
broke it already.
Yes.
Attention, winner. You
See, you'll.
I'll get it figured out
I'll
off
do it
off
for you,
camera.
Jerry. Yeah.
And then these ones here, of course, race champions,
And All Star.
all stars, the Eagles. Everybody wants to get that eagle too.
and Jerry the Moonshine.
Oh yes. Everybody who
starters.
starters
Stock
for
cars.
stock cars and mods.
Get a custom.
Get a methanol moonshine starter bottle. It's going to have your starting position.
Pretty cool.
It's pretty awesome.
And you know what a lot of people don't realize, you have to take a shot of that before the race.
That's
Well,
the-
you don't
that's
have
the-
to because
that's
some
the-
people don't want to. Like I've got the bottles from last year.
That's the cruiser cars.
Yeah, cruiser cars. the IMCA cruisers.
So we haven't added cruisers to this year's Supernationals.
Not yet.
Not yet.
They put on a show Saturday night over there.
Did
Yeah,
they?
we had a good cruiser car feature.
Everybody's
over there
helmet stay
Saturday.
on.
Yeah, everybody's helmet stayed on. Nobody lost a shin.
That's a good thing. All right.
Nate,
wrap
what's
it
the
up.
schedule? Come on. Put the schedule up there. Look at that. You can watch racing from the Beaver. There's 305s, or there's Race Savers at the Beaver. But then, hey, so we have had questions I've seen on the Supernationals page.
Okay.
As soon as it's ready, I'm assuming we'll post it out there if you can.
What
buy
it costs?
Yeah, what it costs to view the week of, because I know everybody's asking. We'll put it up there.
Yeah, we'll have obviously the daily, and then they have the package. And the package is you can buy the 8-day package. You'll be able to buy, if you buy on Wednesday, you could buy the 4-day package. So it's priced accordingly. But it's usually set on about the pit pass price. So I would anticipate the pricing for the Supernationals on a daily and on a package to be very similar to last year. That's what we've been talking. We talked about it this morning.
Yeah.
We're going to throw that up here, I imagine, in this week. So by Friday, we should have some pricing for the Supernationals pay-per-view.
Look at all that great racing you can see.
Just tons
Absolutely.
of stuff to watch.
That's all just up to this weekend.
And we just added Batesville in September.
right.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
we
we're
That's
going
right.
to Batesville in September. The hope for, is it 71 or 74?
No, there's another race right before that.
Yeah, there's a race before that.
Yep. So nothing will happen at Batesville Speedway that you won't be able to watch on IMCA TV.
Correct.
Correctamundo. Get to go there twice this year. You want to go?
What are the
I
dates?
thought we were wrapping this deal
Yeah, I
up.
was going to say, if we keep talking like this, I'm going to have another granddaughter by the time you wrap this up, Jerry.
All right. So you saw the schedule. You know where to go. Go to,
I mean, come on.
yes.
Come on.
Come on. Come on.
Hour 20.
Lunchtime.
It's lunchtime, kids. Sloppy
Past
Joe, sloppy Joe. Anyway, get on out to an IMCA event near you. If you can't get out to one, make sure and tune in on IMCA TV to those great. Check out the schedule there. And if you want to go back and watch something that happened last week, last year, last month, we do have that 30-day replay pass. So you can always go back and relive the highlights and the lowlights of anything that's on IMCA TV. So NC-17 wrapped up. Number 18's coming. Maybe that's when we get our presents.
Barely legal 18.
Barely legal. All right. Well, with that, enjoy your week. Hope you enjoyed this. Comment below on what you think like the top 10 things in your shirt should be. What Carson has to see at the Supernationals and what he
Or what your
should
questions
not
are.
to see.
Correct.
Yes.
You already have answers?
You have
Or if Jerry
I
will
was
ever
sure.
wrap this show up.
I'm trying, but
right.
okay, we're out of here. We got to go. Jim's hungry. Captain Sammy's hungry. Tummy timer's going off. We'll see you next time.
Sammy.
Tell me, Timer.
Captain Sammy. What the hell?